On this episode of MythBusters, we're taking you out to the ball game.
I want to see you take a full swing and that beanie still stay on your head.
Legendary pitcher Roger Clemens joins the MythBusters All-Stars for a baseball special.
Fastball is like watching a dart go, man. It's beautiful.
And we reveal the physics of a ball in flight.
Sweet!
We're going to touch base with 4 big myths and answer once and for all some of baseball's burning questions. Step up to the plate with Adam and Jamie
That is a bat. That's not a broomstick.
and find out, does cork in your bat give you more clout?
That's the hit!
And can you hit a ball so hard that the hide comes clean off?
Wow.
Meanwhile, Carrie, Tori, and Grant discover if a humid ball is harder to hit.
Nice.
Woo!
And does sliding into base actually slow you down?
Wow, that looked like it hurt.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Salvage
Is everybody ready for diving?
and Jamie Heineman.
Gets me all worked up just looking at it.
That was beautiful!
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
That was heavy.
Joining them, Grant Imahara,
Jamie makes it look so easy when he does it.
Tori Belleci,
Somebody order some exploding pants.
and Carrie Byron.
High explosives and electricity. Woo!
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. Nothing says America quite like baseball.
Baseball is one of the great common denominators of American life. When game time rolls round, there are no social barriers.
Hot dogs and home runs, base sliding, and big hits. For decades, it's been the country's national pastime. And so you guys figured it'd be the perfect arena for the MythBusters to take a swing and a myth.
You guys like baseball?
Are you kidding? I love going to the ball game.
Well, so do our fans, and they have inundated us with baseball myths to bust.
So what do we got?
Can a corked bat hit a ball further?
And what about whether sliding into base is quicker than running?
How about the one, does a dry ball go farther than a humid ball?
Exactly. And can you hit a baseball so hard, you knock the hide right off?
Sweet.
And we have got a real baseball legend to help us out.
Who?
None other than the Roger Clemens.
Roger Clemens? How did we get him?
Turns out the Rockets fan of the show.
Well, let's play ball.
That's right, it's the MythBusters and the MythBuster. He's one of the all-time baseball greats, pitcher Roger Clemens. In a career spanning more than 20 years, the man they call the Rocket has won a World Series and taken out the prestigious Cy Young Award an amazing 7 times. He also happens to be a big fan of MythBusters. And Jamie's stammering with excitement.
I'm speechless to have the Roger Clemens here helping us deal with these baseball issues.
Later in the show, we'll study the mojo of the throw and answer once and for all the age-old question. Can a baseball really slide and curve? Or is it just an optical illusion?
I'm gonna try and give it my best out here so you can tell what this baseball actually does with these high-speed cameras.
We'll return to Roger later. In the meantime, our first baseball myth's a real corker.
Man, how great is it to have Roger Clemens helping us do baseball myths?
Yep, can't wait to see him do his stuff.
Well, our first myth is a total classic, the corked bat.
What's a corked bat about?
Here's the idea. You drill a hole in the end of a normal regulation Major League Baseball bat, you put some cork in there, you plug it back in with wood, and that bat is all of a sudden able to hit balls a lot farther.
Is that legal in baseball?
It's ever so slightly totally illegal.
Huh.
You bet it's illegal. In 2003, the baseball world was rocked when star slugger Sammy Sosa's bat split during a game, exposing a cork core. He claimed it was a practice bat he'd picked up by mistake. but Sosa was immediately ejected from the game and suspended for 7 matches.
What do you think our general plan is?
Well, we get a bunch of bats, figure out how to cork some of them, and see which one will hit a ball further.
I think we should remove the human element from this as much as we can. Let's make a machine that swings the bat at the exact same speed every time.
Yeah, and while we're at it, we need to do the same sort of thing with the ball, only we can use a cannon instead of the swinging machine.
You know what? I'm thinking that we've already built everything we need to test this myth for previous episodes. We don't need to go out anywhere. It's all right here in the shop.
Yeah, a few modifications maybe, but they'll work.
Excellent.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a MythBusters first. No blueprint diagrams, no time-consuming builds. This baseball myth will be totally off the shelf.
Cary Grant and Tori built a sword swinging rig when they were doing sword cutting a sword. That's perfect for swinging a baseball bat. And 2, Jamie and I already built an air-powered cannon. That is so wrong. Which is perfect for throwing baseballs at speeds well up to the supersonic range, I think. All right, here we go. I'm flicking the switch.
First, at test firing, just to blow away the cobwebs.
That's a nice download, man. That is fast.
Now, a Roger Clemens fastball fizzes towards the batter at between 90 and 100 miles per hour.
There we go.
But Adam and Jamie will go for a more average fastball speed, about 80 miles an hour.
Let's just quickly try 7 psi.
The air pressure required to do that is around 7.5 pounds per square inch.
At
7.5 psi.
here we go.
79 miles per hour. Close enough. Next, gotta get the batting rig into the swing of things.
I'm going to swing this bat on high-speed camera, and we're going to measure how fast it is and calibrate this machine so it swings the bat just as fast. All right, let me give my hands a moment to recover. And my dignity.
Take your time, buddy. We could watch this all day.
Can we move on to something else now? Let's cut to me swinging. Here we go. Cut.
Adam's clean swing clocks 62 miles per hour. That equates to air pressure of 70 psi.
Okay.
All they have to do now is cork some bats. But baseball authorities don't want us to show exactly how that's done. And as Adam tampers with the timber, he's wondering if this whole quirky cork caper isn't a case of mind over matter.
Since 1970, 6 major league hitters have been caught using a corked bat. Kind of makes you wonder if there's something to it.
Well, the act of corking a bat does remove some weight, but if you want to swing with a lighter bat, there's nothing in the regulations that prevent you from just going and getting a lighter bat.
Then why do it?
Well, to a major league hitter, the psychological advantage may be huge. If you believe your bat has special power, you may be more likely to get that hit.
And that could be the difference between being struck out or making a home run.
Exactly.
The pitching cannon is primed, ready to fire. The bat bot is poised over the plate, all set to swing. Better stand back, because Jamie's workshop is about to become a batting cage.
And we're going to put up a net. Aren't we putting up a net? I think we're going to put up a net. And she's really good at catching balls.
Testing baseball myths with cannons and robots. Isn't that so, MythBusters?
Something's going to go someplace where it shouldn't. We're going to have mayhem and destruction one way or another. Yeah. Oh, but what the heck? It's all in the name of science.
It's the MythBusters Baseball Special, and the next myth's hot off the fan site.
I've got a really cool baseball myth. This one is all over the internet.
All right, let's hear it.
Well, the idea is if you keep your baseballs in a humidor, like the thing that you keep your cigars fresh with, that it makes it really hard to hit a home run with.
Yeah, I saw this one on our website. And according to the fans, at one stadium in particular, once they started keeping their balls in a humidor, the number of home runs went down dramatically.
For years, the Colorado Rockies' home ground in Denver had the highest home run rate in the majors. But since they started storing baseballs in a humidor, the run rate has dried up. Is there a link?
Well, to test this myth, I think first off, we're going to need to build a humidor and stick some baseballs in it.
You know what we should also do is dry out a set of baseballs so that way we have something to compare to.
So before we go to the park and start hitting balls around, I think what we should do is set up a small-scale experiment in our shop. We'll drop both the dry balls and the humid balls from the same height and see which bounces higher.
It's a good idea.
Grant's plan: a vacuum pump holds the balls at a certain height, then drops them one by one in front of a scale.
So one important thing about this myth is that we drop the balls exactly the same way every time. So we're going to be very careful about how we attach the ball to the cup, making sure to line up the stitching the exact same way. And that way we can remove some of the variables from this experiment. So, we'll have our humidified and dry balls hanging from the ceiling. And then when we want to drop, there you go.
Out in the car park, the guys set up to get the drop on this baseball myth.
You're going to be dropping from a height of 125 inches. So it's like 10.5 feet.
They'll drop 10 balls. The first 5 have spent 2 weeks locked in an old fridge with a dehumidifier, which cut humidity to just 10%.
Some good bouncing.
Yeah. These are all about 110 centimeters.
Ball 5.
Thank you.
There's no ball 5?
Not in baseball, there's no ball 5, but on MythBusters. Okay. Wow.
The high-speed camera shows the dry balls bounced an average height of 106 centimeters.
That's pretty consistent.
Great. Let's move on to the humid balls.
The other 5 balls spent the same time in a makeshift humidor. Carrie put a block of waterlogged foam in a perforated plastic container and then put that and the balls in a cooler. As the water evaporated, vapor escaped through the holes,
Seal this up.
raising the humidity inside the cooler to a damp 90%.
Humid ball number 1. Feel that. Just from touching it, you can tell that it's softer.
Can this batch scale the same dizzy heights as the dry balls?
Oh.
Wow.
All right.
After soaking up the atmosphere in Carrie's cooler, it seems the humid balls just can't bounce back. The average height of a humid ball bounce is 91 centimeters, as opposed to 106 centimeters for the dry balls. That's a difference of 14%.
Now, in your typical baseball scenario, with an outfield of, say, 425 feet, 14% is almost 60 feet, which is a difference between an out or a home run.
That was really amazing. I think it definitely warrants further investigation.
Yeah, I say we get out to the baseball field and start hitting these balls and see which ones go farther.
Well, I just don't think we'll be able to both pitch and hit consistently every time. And what we really need to do is isolate the variable of humidity.
You know what I'd also like to do? I'd like to introduce a control into this experiment. You know, a mid-range humidity that we can test against the 2 extremes.
All right, sounds good.
Now, Adam and Jamie have already got the batting machine and the pitching cannon tied up, trying to crack the case of the corked bat. So, Grant's gone one better and designed a robot that bats and pitches. Here's the deal. The robot will have 2 arms, one holding a bat, one holding a ball. A motor turns the arms, bat connects with ball, ball goes flying to the fence. It's going to be geared for raw power.
Is this our gear?
Yeah,
Dude, it looks like a saw blade.
While the beefy batting machine takes shape, the guys have been pondering the background to this major league myth.
So, how did the Rockies come up with the idea for keeping their baseballs in humidors?
It's all about altitude. Denver's about a mile above sea level, and their stadium is the highest in the major leagues. At that altitude, the air is drier.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, drier air is going to give you drier baseballs.
And as the balls dry out, they get harder, which theoretically means they'll travel further when they're hit.
You know, one other thing about the altitude is at that height, the air pressure is going to be a lot lower, which will allow the baseballs to travel farther.
Precisely.
Back in the dugout, Torrey's got a bat in place. A clamp has a pincer grip on the ball.
And it's out of here!
So I've got my motor. It's mounted to a beefy plate on the machine. It's wired up to the speed control. That goes to a safety switch, which has this key. And that goes to a bank of batteries. And I'm ready to fire it up for the first time.
The robot batter's wired up. Grant gives it the juice.
3, 2, 1.
The ball jolted free before contact. The bat smashed into the springs, really hitting a groove.
So we're gonna ditch the springs and go with some foam, some kind of rigid blue foam.
When the bat comes through, it'll hit the ball and break the foam, not breaking the bat. Hopefully this will work.
In 3, 2, 1. Hey!
Good job.
The bat is still intact.
Looks like the mad batter's ready to be taken out to the ballpark. On the MythBusters baseball special, Carrie, Torrey, and Grant have been bouncing around the myth that a humid baseball is harder to hit out of the park.
All right.
But before they go to the park, the team first wants to know what our guest star, baseball legend Roger Clemens, thinks of this tall tale.
So, Roger, I've heard something about the air in Denver that is, I guess it's drier. There's something about humid balls and baseball pitching. Tell me about it.
All I know and have heard is that the Colorado Rockies have a humidor that they store quite a few baseballs in for that reason. And I have pitched in Colorado, and it is difficult to make the ball, get your normal movement out of your breaking ball pitches.
Really?
A humid ball might be harder to pitch, but is it also harder to hit? Torrey, Carrie, and Grant are off to get some ballpark figures.
Here we are in beautiful San Jose, and look at the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready, because you are about to witness dry balls versus humid balls. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to use our robot batting machine, and we are going to hit 30 dry balls and 30 humid balls. And whichever goes farther takes it all home.
It's wood all the way in the big league, but in this case, an aluminum bat might better cope with the rigors of the rig.
We've got 3 sets of balls. Humid balls at 90%, dry balls at 10%, finally a control group at about 50%. Now our baseball hitting robot is situated right on home plate. It's gonna hit balls into the outfield. Torrey and Carrie will be out there with different colored flags, one for each type of ball, and they'll mark the point where the ball first hits the ground.
In their small-scale test, the humid balls had 14% less bounce. Will that result be replicated in the real world? Now, the robot worked okay in the shop, but you guys know only too well how things go on this show. It's a brand new, intricate rig with high-speed moving parts. Seriously, what are the chances of it working first time?
Okay, first we have the control at 50% humidity with the aluminum bat. 3, 2, 1. Nice!
Well, I'll be. Far from striking out, the mad batter's striking those balls as clean as Babe Ruth himself.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I'm really happy with the rig. So chic.
The guys mix it up, sending a barrage of dry, normal, and humid balls soaring into the sky.
Nice. I love it.
Given the small scale result, my feeling is that these balls are going to go not as far as the dry balls. You know, since there's more moisture in the ball, they're heavier, they're not going to go as far, but we'll see.
This is where all the magic happens. This is the data. This is what the experiment is all about.
With no wind to affect the flight of the ball, test conditions are perfect. And already, Grant can see a pattern developing.
Yellow flags, which are the most humid balls, are closer to home plate. The control balls, which are pink, are a little bit further out. And out here in the outfield, the dry balls, which are the red flags, are the furthest out. Still too early to call, but I think this might be a trend.
That's good. They're starting to group together.
Like some medieval war machine, the rig keeps kissing leather till the ammo runs out.
There's definitely a pool of yellow, pink, and red flags. That means that the humid balls didn't go as far. Then comes the control at 50% humidity, and the furthest with a 10% humidity, dry balls all the way at the outer edge.
And that totally agrees with our small scale tests.
Yeah, it's a spread of plus or minus 15 feet.
You know, I think there's some truth to this myth, because there's definitely a pattern where the dry balls were going farther than the humid balls.
It's funny how such a small thing can make such a huge difference on the game.
Yep, there are so many variables in baseball, I think it would be hard to attribute a decrease in home runs to just humidity.
You know what's weird, though? Starting this season, Major League Baseball teams are keeping their balls in humidors.
Well, that settles it for me. This is definitely plausible.
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 Meanwhile, Adam and Jamie have been putting a cork in it. Now, the rules of baseball state that a bat must be a single piece of wood. That's how they leave the factory. But in the search for more spring, some players hollow out bats, replacing wood with cork. But does cork equal clout? I'll just let Adam explain.
The heart of this experiment is a timer. One that fires a ball, one that swings a bat. Here's how it started. I release the safety, I click this. This sends electrical signals all the way down here, follow me, to our bank of air tanks, which we built for the Pirate Special Cannon. These two solenoids are activated by that timer. They activate these valves, releasing all the air from these tanks into the bottom of this barrel, in which is one of these balls in a sabot. The ball starts traveling down the barrel. As the ball travels down the barrel, a second electrical impulse activates this quick release on a valve, which releases this bat, which is on a spring on this cylinder here, swinging all the way around. Hopefully, at the very moment the ball is leaving the barrel, hitting the bat right at the point of impact we want, capturing it on high-speed camera, knocking it out of the park, and answering our question once and for all.
The reason we're doing it this way is we need to isolate the effect of the cork. Now, if the bat is swinging at the same speed each time and the cannon is firing the ball at the same speed each time, the only variable here is the corked bat. And that should make it really obvious if the corked bat is providing extra spring.
First, a regulation uncorked bat. The cannon is lubed with lard and a baseball loaded, snug in its foam sabot. We're ready to play ball.
I'm going to fire both of these things at precisely the same second.
Okay.
The tricky part of this experiment is the timing. The ball will be flying at 80 miles per hour and the bat swinging at 60 miles per hour for a combined collision speed of 140 miles per hour. If Adam's timing is out, even by a couple of milliseconds, the two won't connect.
In 3, 2.
Strike one. Cannon and robot weren't in sync, but never fear, the game's not over yet.
High speed says that we've dialed into our correct batting speed. The mechanical bat is swinging just as fast as I was able to, 62 miles an hour. However, the ball is showing up to the party 141 milliseconds early.
Adam tweaks the timer.
I've delayed the ball by 141 milliseconds. Everybody ready? In 5, 4, 3.
This time, Adam's timing was spot on, but the ball rocketed off the bat and smashed a chunk out of the scale.
Ground ball.
Ground ball. So that may mean that this test is invalid because it hit this.
Yeah.
And we don't get a measurement of how fast the ball leaves there.
The guys reset.
Go. That's the hit!
This batting robot's really got its eye in.
That was another good hit. Yeah. Oh.
It hit one side of your shop and then the other.
Oh, there it is. It's in the armature wire.
That's great.
Now that we've seen a number of hits with a regulation bat, what the high-speed camera is telling us is that the ball is consistently leaving the cannon at 80 miles an hour, which happens to be about the speed of a Roger Clemens pitch. It's also leaving the bat once it gets hit at 80 miles an hour. The next thing we need to do is test how fast it leaves the bat when the bat is corked. If it leaves faster, that'll answer our question.
3.
That was a hit.
That was a hit.
The ball is over here.
And the bat is still there. So, with any luck, that's data. The ball is coming into the bat at about 80 miles an hour, but it is leaving that bat at half that speed, at about 40 miles an hour.
Remember, when they tested the regulation bat, the ball was arriving at 80 miles per hour and leaving at almost the same speed. Try again.
That looked like a beautiful hit. That looked like a perfect line drive back towards your welder. That's perfect. That's as good as our best one with the non-corked bat. Our earlier data points with the normal uncorked bat had the ball leaving the bat pretty much at exactly the speed it was going towards the bat at. In both of our good data sets on the corked bat, it's leaving at half the speed.
Loading your lumber with lightweight cork poses two problems. The bat might be lighter and easier to swing, but reduced weight means less energy delivered to the ball. Also, instead of adding extra spring, the cork actually absorbs some of the impact. Those two factors add up to blunted batting ability.
A ball hitting a corked bat is going to leave that bat at a slower speed than a ball hitting a regulation unmodified bat. I mean, they made this thing to hit a ball really efficiently. I don't think it warrants any modification.
Looks like this baseball myth's been knocked out of the park.
Guess what?
What?
I made a commemorative plaque for this myth.
Corked bat, okay. Well, you know, one way or another, it looks like the guys that got caught using a corked bat got themselves suspended for nothing.
Yeah, you know, while our sample size might have been small, our results were totally unambiguous.
Every time a ball came off the corked bat, it was coming off at half the speed that it was off of a normal bat.
Yeah, far from acting like a spring, it was a lot more like a sponge. I gotta say, this one is totally busted.
Totally. It's busted.
On this MythBusters baseball special, it's time for Rocket Roger Clemens to step up to the plate.
I might reach 90 miles an hour today for y'all.
Roger's agreed to throw his whole taxonomy of pitches for us while we shoot it with the high-speed camera from several angles, and that really ought to allow us to break down what's going on from a physics perspective with each of these pitches.
The team is hoping to use the high-speed camera to unravel the mojo of the throw. But to warm up that famous arm, the Rocket first puts some pitches in front of Adam and Jamie.
Room service is right there. It's like somebody bringing you breakfast in the morning. I'm gonna put it right there. You can't miss it. You can close your eyes and hit it. That is a bat. That's not a broomstick. Now swing like you're off. Hey, all right.
The MythBusters may be struck out, but with the Rocket firing on all cylinders, it's time to unravel the parameters of the pitch. First up, a basic four-seam fastball.
We hold the fastball in this manner, and from my understanding, this ball rotates when I let it go in this manner. With four seams, these seams will catch that wind. That ball will track.
fastball is like watching a dart go, man. It's beautiful.
Looking at the high speed, the fastball pitch does exactly what Roger said it'd do. Backspin keeps the ball on the straight and narrow as it rifles over the plate at more than 80 miles an hour. But what happens when Roger changes his grip?
Basically, if you're a fastball here, you're in this area for the slider, and you're offset, and you're basically cutting the side of the ball. It should go maybe down 4 inches and away from a right-handed hitter 4 inches. That's a true slider. There we go. You know it's good when the catcher doesn't catch it.
Roger's found perfect pitch again. The slider veers away to the right of the plate,
Curveball.
while a classic curveball suddenly dips in midair.
The curveball, again, you're using a seam, and it's basically your middle finger. You're grabbing a seam and locking down with pretty firm pressure on this finger here. This one just guides it. And it is a motion where you're throwing it like a fastball, but as you get to the release point, you turn your wrist.
Coming out of Roger's right paw, it's almost as if the ball has a life of its own.
I can see that curving, I
Yeah,
swear.
this speed, you'll definitely see it curving.
But while the high-speed shots show us the ball swerving and dipping, they can't tell us much about how it happens. And that's why Carrie, Tori, and Grant are at NASA's Ames Research Center in San Francisco. Luckily for us, scientist Rabindra Mehta is a big baseball fan.
The beauty of our lab is that we study aerodynamics, fluid mechanics as applied to airplanes or space shuttles, but it's the same fluid mechanics, aerodynamics that's applied to baseballs or soccer balls or what have you.
So basically, you have married your two passions for
Exactly.
science and sports.
Isn't that wonderful?
Okay, so we heard that you actually have a tank where you can show us all of these things visually.
Yes, absolutely. What we'll do now is go over to this water channel where we have a baseball. As you see, it's mounted on a motor, so we're able to rotate it to show you the effects of rotation. But when you see what's going on here, I think it's going to be really cool.
To simulate airflow around a baseball, they introduce streams of fluorescent dye.
That is sweet.
While it's still, the dye flows in a symmetrical pattern around the ball. Now imagine that ball has just been fired from Roger Clemens' fist.
Oh, wow. Look how the aerodynamics change.
As it spins, the airflow is disrupted. The air pressure on the ball's underside suddenly drops.
And this ball now will have a force downwards as it's flying through the air. So this would be your classic curve ball.
Lower air pressure on the bottom of the ball makes it dip during flight. And the principle's exactly the same for each different pitch.
It is the axis of spin that determines what type of pitch it is. With a standard fastball, which is released with backspin, you get an upward lift force. With a slider, the axis of spin would be more or less vertical, and in which case the ball would tend to go towards the left because of that. Then the curveball, tumbling. Spinning about the horizontal axis makes it go down.
So our high-speed shots and NASA show that bendy baseball behavior is no myth. So what about the infamous rising fastball? Many hitters swear that some fastballs suddenly lift in midair as they hurtle towards the plate. Is that a myth?
Now, for it to rise, the lift force due to the spin would have to exceed the weight of the ball, right? That's pretty simple. Now, it turns out that for the type of conditions which we find in baseball, the maximum lift force is only equivalent to about half the weight of the ball.
Not even a pitcher as prodigious as Roger Clemens can make a baseball fly in the face of physics. Throwing a fastball that rises is about as likely as Adam and Jamie hitting home runs in the World Series.
You know, hanging out with Roger Clemens, it becomes really clear that pitching is just as much of an art as it is a science.
Totally agree. And while we were there, we had the added bonus of another myth busted.
Yep, the myth of the rising fastball. And it turns out that for the backspin to exert enough force to lift the ball, it'd have to exert more force than the weight of the ball.
Which it can't.
Which it can't.
Yeah, it might be possible with a beach ball, but not a baseball.
Busted.
Totally busted.
On this baseball special, it's time to get down and dirty as the MythBusters All-Stars take a long run-up at the slide.
All right, this baseball myth is all about the slide.
The what?
Do you watch any sporting events?
Yeah, robot combat. It's a sport.
Right. Well, you know in baseball when you see a guy run to the base and he slides into it?
Oh yes, I have seen that. But wouldn't it be faster just to run?
Well, that's the myth. A lot of people think that on bases that you can't overrun, that it's faster to slide into them.
All right. Sounds like that's worth testing.
Yeah.
The slide is part and parcel of baseball. In trying to beat the tag and hit the bag, a runner sends the kitty litter flying. But when a player hits the dirt, is the friction costing him precious time? Would it be faster to stay on 2 feet?
Okay, so how are we gonna test this?
This one's simple. We just run at the base and then we slide into the base and see which one's faster.
I got the perfect thing to time that. It's accurate down to the millisecond. I can start it when we leave one base and stop it when we tag the next.
Cool. I think we should also throw in the dive, and that's when you lunge at the base face forward and see if that one's any faster.
All right. Let's ask Jamie and see if he wants to play.
Our sporting gurus head on out to the University of Pacific's Stockton campus. Gee, they really look the part, don't they? There's just one teensy problem. None of our All-Stars can slide. But never fear, Uni head coach Ed Sprague has agreed to take on these raw recruits.
All right, I'm going to teach you on the grass so we can minimize the injuries we might have today by the end of the day. All right?
So you're planning on some injuries?
There could be some blood.
Ed spent 11 years in the major leagues, playing for 6 different teams, and is famous for hitting the winning home run in Game 2 of the 1992 World Series. But now he's really got his work cut out for him.
You want to try to take the brunt of the slide on the outside of your shin here, all right? And then on our butt. We don't want to jam our knee into the ground, and we don't want to get our feet way in the air.
Now, as we know, MythBusters often fly by the seat of their pants. So you might think they'd be naturals at this.
Oh! Get the hands up.
Yeah.
But you'd be wrong.
I can make a robot to do it.
In order to test this myth, we're gonna have to be able to slide correctly. So I say we give it a few more minutes, maybe a few more hours till we get it down right. Once we get the slide down right, then we can start testing this myth.
Eventually, the guys' slides start to look more technique and less train wreck.
All right, well, I think you guys have shown enough improvement that we're going to move on to the the dirt over here.
Blood alley, huh?
It's time to get Grant's timing rig up to speed.
So the timer's going to have millisecond resolution. There's one switch to start the sequence. And what you'll do is have your foot on this, and the second you leave, it'll start the timer. There'll be a second switch here that goes to a latching relay, and this is going to be on the bag. So when you come up and hit the bag, and it'll freeze the timer wherever it is.
Predictions?
My feeling is running to the bag, decelerating, and staying on it is going to be faster, but I could be very wrong.
Let's find out. On the first attempt, Tori will run and try and stop dead on the bag.
Ready when you are.
The instant Tori's foot leaves the switch, the timer starts. In his head, he's trying to beat a ball that's flying in from the outfield.
I'm still on. I'm still touching. What was my time?
3.624.
Pretty sure I was safe.
Tori struggled to stop his momentum.
You get going that fast, it's hard to stop. I mean, a lot of mass to go, you're stopped dead on that target.
This time, he's going to slide into base. Can he beat 3.6 seconds? Will he snap his leg off at the knee?
Nice.
Did I stop it?
Nice, you sure did.
Okay, good. Hey, what was my time?
3.572.
By sliding, Tori shaved 0.05 of a second off his previous time. It's not much, but it could be the difference between safe and out. He's lost a little bark, but the coach is happy.
That was a really good slide. He did a great job there. He went as fast as he could, and he did a really good job of keeping his feet going and sliding right hard into the bag.
Time for the other two All-Stars to do their dashes.
Nice. 4.076.
And let their hip bone slip.
It's 100 milliseconds, a tenth of a second faster.
I actually thought that was probably your best slide of the day. And that's a good hard slide right there.
4.13 seconds. Wow, that looked like it hurt. You beat your time. 3.93 seconds.
When the dust settles, the results seem to match Tori's. On test 1, the guys each had to slow their speed at the last second in order to stay upright and not overrun the base. But on the second run, they actually accelerated into the slide, and that last second speeding up shaved milliseconds off the time. It's looking like this myth might have hit the skids. But hold on, there's one other technique they haven't tried.
I'm wondering if diving is faster than sliding. And I think you've got some diving technique, don't you?
I don't know. I feel like we've contested this thoroughly. I don't think we need to do the dive.
We want to see you do the dive.
Come on, Tori, you got to take one for the team. After all, it is in the name of science.
This is your last one, so you might as well leave it all on the field.
I love your attitude. Even leave it all on the field. My blood, my teeth, maybe some bones.
Tori digs deep and eats dirt.
Where's my time?
3.626. Sad to say.
Wow.
Slower than the slide, slower than the run.
And more painful.
All right.
Look at that. Yeah! Oh, dang! You know, this myth is looking confirmed. It looks like it is faster to slide into a bag than it is to slow down and stop on it.
That's what all the data says.
Yep, the numbers don't lie. So, myth confirmed, huh?
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
We're at the bottom of the 9th on this baseball special. There's one final myth, and again, it was the subject of fan site frenzy.
What do we have?
Well, we started this episode out with a myth about the inside of a bat.
Corked bat.
Exactly. We're going to finish it off with a myth about the inside of a ball, specifically that you can hit a baseball hard enough to knock the hide off the ball while the inside itself goes out of the park.
Sounds like another classic cartoon caper. A ball is pitched at such speed and hit with such force that the stitch is split and hide is left behind. It's not a scenario pitchers enjoy contemplating.
Have you ever seen somebody hit the hide off the ball? Is it possible?
Are you saying I give up a lot of home runs? Have I ever seen the hide come off a baseball that I've thrown one in there?
Roger thinks Jamie's got a hide even asking.
I have thrown some balls in there at 94, 95. The hitters, they say, the scouts that sit in the stands that clock the pitches say that the ball has come back over 130, 140 miles an hour. Thank God the ball has not come unraveled. You can definitely put a flat spot in the ball when a guy hits it real hard or squares it up, as we say. But to bring the hide completely off, that would be a chore for you two men. I'm sure you could find something with bring the hide off of.
Oh, we're going to have to investigate this one.
Back at home base, Adam and Jamie plan to test this myth by firing up the air cannon once again. We've already seen that a mere 7.5 psi was enough to send a ball rocketing at 80 miles an hour.
Oh.
That's the hit!
Obviously, that's not fast enough to knock the hide off. So they load a fresh ball and double the air pressure.
Adam, I'm actually at 15 psi.
3, 2.
At 15 psi, the cannon spits that ball out at 170 miles an hour.
Wow. That's really powerful.
More than double the speed of a Clemens aspirin tablet.
Oh. It went through the blanket.
But the hide still hasn't hightailed it. How about 40 psi?
Oh, yeah.
3, 2, 1.
The ball cannoned into the static bat at 200 miles per hour, almost twice as fast as the quickest major league pitch ever recorded. It might be bye-bye bat, but the ball's still not disemboweled.
So the fastest pitch ever recorded is 103 miles an hour. We've got this puppy up to 200 miles an hour. At that speed, it was snapping our bats like twigs, and it still is totally intact.
Well, it's obvious to me that knocking the hide off a ball is way beyond the capability of a human pitcher or batter.
We just gonna leave it there? What do we do now?
Of course not. We've got the rig. Let's open it wide up and see what we can get out of it.
That's just what you were gonna do after we all left anyway, weren't you?
Of course.
All right, let's do that.
They're going full power, 150 PSI. Can that unveil a ball's innards?
The cannon that we're using to fire this baseball was originally created to fire a cannonball, like a 6-pound cannonball. Now we're firing a baseball that weighs, I don't know, 8 ounces or thereabouts. So there's every possibility that this ball could get up into, hundreds and hundreds of miles per hour.
Given what happened last time, there's no point putting a bat in front of that.
That's close enough.
Instead, Jamie lays a length of aluminum pipe in the ball's path.
This is extremely dangerous, but I want to see what this puppy can do.
The rig is pressurized to 150 PSI, almost 4 times the air pressure used in the last test. We're locked and loaded. It's time to take cover.
You can man the switch. Everybody back here.
Everybody in the bag.
With the Scaredy Cat crew safe behind the ballistics panel, Adam triggers the timer.
5, 4, 3, 2.
That's no longer a ball, it's a bullet.
Yeah! That is beautiful! You knocked the skin off the ball.
This is actually what it would take to do that myth.
Right. Absolutely. I want to find the hide.
Okay.
That ball's been peeled like an orange.
I don't know about you, but I don't think that a batter could do that.
This thing was traveling at 437 miles per hour by my math. I don't think there's anyone that can pitch that fast.
That's 4 times as fast as a really good pitcher, or more than that. So that means myth busted.
Swing batter! Dude, that was so much fun.
Yeah, how was it working with Roger Clemens?
It was unbelievable.
All right, well, let's tally up the final score. Cork bat?
Busted.
How about humid balls?
Definitely plausible.
Knocking the hide off a ball?
Totally busted. We had to turn this thing into a bullet before we got anything.
How'd slide go?
It's confirmed. It's definitely faster to slide into a base than to run.
Yeah, who knew? There's actually a lot more to baseball than you might think.
Yeah, I think sports is going to continue to provide a fertile myth-busting ground in the future.
Great, because there's nothing that we're better at than organized sports, right?
See how good we are?
On this episode of MythBusters, anyone for table tennis? Adam and Jamie plunge to new depths when they try to salvage a sunken sailboat in the silliest of fashions. Just how many ping pong balls would it take to float your boat? And how many balloons before you lose your kid at the carnival?
I think my arm is about to be ripped out of its socket.
Welcome to the Float-a-thon. Who are the MythBusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
And Jamie Heineman.
Quack, damn you.
I wouldn't say Jamie's an evil genius.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
When will the fun ever stop?
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. What happens if your ship catches on fire and sinks in the harbor? Can you bring it back from the bottom? And how about if all you have on hand are ping pong balls?
Well, Jamie, your years as a captain of a ship down in the Caribbean is going to serve you well for this myth. Ping pong ball salvage.
Yeah, it actually seems pretty familiar to me because in those days I formed a salvage company and we actually raised a sunken sailboat using garbage bags just by filling one bag up at a time. And this is actually pretty similar, except we're going to be using thousands and thousands of ping pong balls to do it.
These, to raise a ship?
Yeah.
Off the bottom of the ocean?
That's the myth.
Salvage companies use large flotation bags, which are usually filled with air while on the ocean floor. A slightly different technique was used to raise a piece of Titanic's hull in 1998. The big piece weighed in at 20 tons and took 5 giant bags to lift, each filled with 6,000 gallons of lightweight propane. But in the 1940s, Donald Duck and his nephews had the comical idea of using ping pong balls for underwater salvage. Now, the Duck has made its way into the MythBusters Hall of Fame.
You know, one of the first questions that comes to my mind, Jamie, is how much buoyancy does a ping pong ball have? And actually, how much space a whole bunch of ping pong balls occupies.
Huh.
What he's trying to say is they need to know some numbers before they can even consider this wacky myth. Like precisely how many ping pong balls will lift how much weight in water.
I'm going to zero out my digital scale. Then I'm going to fill this top cup with exactly 1 pound of buckshot and then see how many ping pong balls it takes to negate that 1 pound of buckshot.
If it takes too many balls, this myth may have to remain in the realm of fantasy. Jamie's skeptical about Adam's rig.
Are we going to get like a 30-foot long tong for the real thing?
It takes a fair amount of force to push it down there. The math says 15 balls.
So what's the problem? You don't believe the math?
Well, we never believe the math on MythBusters. Oh.
That's great, Adam. I'll see you later. Let me know when you get that all worked out.
Luckily, Adam is less fragile than his rig. He resets the experiment and tries again. When the cup containing the ping pong balls floats upwards, he has his answer.
That actually confirms my math. I think that was exactly 15 balls to eliminate a pound of weight.
Here comes that sinking feeling.
That's a lot of balls for a lot of pounds.
Experiment number 2 is designed to find out just how many ping pong balls will fit into a confined space. Adam adopts a questionable scientific method. Please, whatever you do, don't try this at home.
So, 2, 4.
Returning to his senses, he uses the fish tank to find out how efficiently ping pong balls pack together.
So I've got just about 300 balls in here. My space is...
Adam crunches the numbers, and they don't look pretty.
51%. 51% packing efficiency. That's crappy. What that means is that there's all this space between the balls where they can't go right up next to each other because of the fact that spheres are not very good at stacking up against each other.
So far, so bad. Is this myth sunk before it's even begun? While Adam and Jamie are getting bogged down, the build team are going up, up, and away.
I love blowing these balloons up. It's fun.
Hey, you can get a job at the carnival.
I have too many teeth.
Yeah, you do.
Scotty, Tori, and Carrie may look like they're having fun, but this is what they call work.
And
that's the way this is gonna go today.
They're testing a myth that has launched 1,000 Hollywood fairground gags. Mr. Bean demonstrates the classic routine. Kid begins to cry. Parent caves in. Kid gets handed a bunch of balloons. Distracted parent looks away. kid drifts off into the wild blue yonder. But have you ever wondered, if you really did want to float little Elmer off into the next county, how many party balloons it would take? The MythBusters build team is about to find out. They'll need a willing kid and a whole bunch of balloons. But will that bunch be implausibly large? First up, they find out how much weight 10 balloons of the standard 11-inch party variety can lift.
Here's 10 balloons.
There's 10 there, okay.
The balloons lift 100 grams of easy-to-attach paper clips. And converting from metric, it should take 46 balloons to lift 1 pound.
Let's try to get a really skinny kid.
Yeah. There you go.
How about a cute one?
Well, it looks like 3 balloons won't fly you away.
Don't follow his example, but the MythBusters sound man has volunteered the flying services of his intrepid daughter, Maddie.
Grab a scale. I got a kid. Let's see how heavy you are.
About
44 pounds.
Yeah. Maddie, you want to fly away in balloons? Up in the air?
Yeah. Are you afraid of heights?
Nah.
Good.
That's gonna be you.
Maddie may well scream. She's going to be holding on to the biggest bunch of balloons she's ever likely to see.
Oh my God, we're coming up with 2,070 balloons. And we know we're probably gonna pop about 1,000 of them.
Yeah, so we're gonna need to get a lot of balloons.
Somewhere out there is an unsuspecting party store owner, and the MythBusters builders are about to make his day.
All right, let's go shopping.
All right, let's go.
Adam can pull some neat stunts with ping pong balls, but can he and Jamie really use them to salvage a sunken boat?
Now, the essential question for us in testing this myth is, what boat do we raise off the ocean floor?
Well, we did do a thing on a previous experiment with a tugboat that we dubbed the Methane.
The Methane, that's perfect.
Previously on MythBusters, the guys set out to scuttle the Methane, and with it, the myth that a sinking ship will suck you under.
Remember this ship?
The Methane.
Adam rates the episode as his scariest piece of myth-busting so far.
The first time this thing started to go under, it went bow first, and the back end was really lurching, something fierce, and I just didn't want to get caught under any part of it.
Surprised by the sea's rapid inflow, Adam bails out early and misses his chance.
The second time it was a lot more gentle, and it started rolling kind of like this, and I sort of sat on the windows of the wheelhouse here and went right under.
Mythanic went under. Adam floated. The myth was safely busted. Now, the guys plan to sink Mythanic again to see if they can bring her back to the surface using only ping pong balls. It all depends on how much Mythanic weighs.
Now, do you remember anything about how much it actually weighed?
I don't have a clue, you know. We'll have to get a crane out here because I think they typically come with scales on them, and we can find out pretty quick.
They know that 15 ping pong balls offset 1 pound of weight underwater. Mythanic won't be sunk until the guys figure out how many balls they'll need to get her back.
Minus the rigging, which is 3,300 pounds roughly, I came up with just under 28,000 pounds. Well, Jimmy, the Mythanic tops out at just under 28,000 pounds, about 14 tons, which by my calculations would take about just under 400,000 ping pong balls to lift it out of the water.
It's an implausible amount, so Mythanic is abandoned and it's back to the drawing board.
What about your average Joe? I think we look towards this myth as being something we can scale down to, say, a fiberglass sailboat. Let's say your average Joe lost his fiberglass sailboat in shallow coastal waters and happened to be a former table tennis star and has a few dozen thousand ping pong balls lying around. Could he salvage the boat from, let's say, 30 to 35 feet of water?
A small sailboat weighs about 3,500 pounds.
It'll take just over 50,000 balls to make it neutrally buoyant, probably 60,000 to raise it from the bottom of the ocean.
That's a small sailboat.
That's a small sailboat, like a 25-footer or something like that.
And that's still about $25,000 worth of ping pong balls, right?
Yeah, at 50 cents a piece, it's still a hell of a lot of dough worth of ping pong balls. But it's a lot more approachable than 600,000 of them.
The guys don't want to burn the budget, but the next big question is, can ping pong balls take the heat at 35 feet?
Would they hold up under the pressure?
Maybe we should test it first. We wouldn't want to set up this whole rig and find out that, you know, they only go down 10 feet.
That would be bad.
Jamie designs a pressure chamber to simulate what will happen to the ping pong balls 35 feet underwater. If they crack under the higher pressure, this myth is busted before the guys even get their feet wet.
What we're doing now is we're making a pressure vessel, and with around 100 psi or so, which we'd like to bring it up to, that's something sort of special. So we've got to custom make something, and hopefully we won't hurt anybody.
In a previous episode of MythBusters, the boys toyed around with pressure and its effects on breast implants.
Look at that, it's a thing of beauty.
Jamie decided to see if they would compress under the high-pressure conditions of deep-sea diving. He didn't figure on explosive results.
We had a seal blow. Are you guys all right?
Now, the guys are swapping breast implants for ping pong balls, but the danger is just the same.
Never let it be said that Jamie and I don't take high pressure seriously. So we're gonna take this down to 1 atmosphere, right?
No, we'll take it all the way to the bottom of the ocean.
Cool.
A blast screen is put in place in case of an explosion.
You ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
It's time for the big squeeze.
We're at 30 psi. That's 2 atmospheres.
No, that's 1.
But 30 psi is 2 atmospheres.
Yeah, but they weren't made in outer space. So they were made at 1 atmosphere, so we've only added 1 atmosphere.
Oh, okay, I see. So let's go to 45.
Okay.
45 pounds per square inch means adding 2 atmospheres of pressure. That's what the balls would face over 60 feet underwater.
I'm just gonna keep on going.
Okay.
If you hear a big boom, just dive.
Adam sends the ping pong balls deeper and deeper until...
Whoa!
I heard that. What was that?
That was at about...
That was about
60.
Well, so they didn't burst until 60 psi. That's 4 atmospheres. That's equivalent to 90 feet under the water. The distance we're thinking of, about 30 feet, doesn't seem like these ping pong balls will crush it all down there.
Now that they know pressure won't be a problem, the guys ship in 60,000 ping pong balls. But there's one remaining hurdle. How on earth do they get so many balls down to a sunken boat?
We've thought about mechanical means, huge chains that pulled balls down.
Like tens or hundreds of thousands of ping pong balls.
But we've also thought of these huge bellows pumps.
We don't want to take them down a bag at a time with scuba.
Valve opens, ping pong balls come in, valve closes, ping pong balls shove out. I mean, the amount of custom building we've been pondering here is huge.
The guys are stuck at the drawing board. As ideas run dry, Adam starts to crack up.
Wow. Hey, would you like to hold these?
No.
Concerned for Adam's mental well-being, Jamie makes a practical suggestion.
One of the first things that I think we should do is actually try in a scale experiment, seeing whether a flow of water downward will carry these with them, because we might just get away with having a tube going down into the boat. Gravity takes the water down, and maybe, just maybe, it'll pull some of these ping pong balls with it. And then we could just sit there and dump them in without having to enclose and pressurize the system.
It's the simplest of builds. Adam suspects it may be too simple. Take a funnel and a tube and just add water, gravity, and ping pong balls.
They're coming out. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Simple, but brilliant. A dispensing rig to dispatch ping pong balls down to Davy Jones' locker.
That is going to save us so much work if this actually works in the large scale.
The MythBusters are no strangers to unpowered flight.
I'm very excited about this.
we're starting to
In
lift.
testing the myth of the lawn chair balloonist, Adam took to the air and took his life in his hands.
I have to let you go. I'd rather just stay under 100 feet. Thank you, over.
So they know you can fly beneath weather balloons if you have enough.
Here we go! Ah!
Wow, look at this.
But could a bunch of party balloons really carry a kid away from a carnival? The MythBusters builders are on the case. At SF Party, they need at least 2,000 balloons, a stack of helium, and a speed lesson in tying.
Okay, so you bring 2 balloons, about the same size, okay, and you tie them into each other.
If Feliciano had $1 for every balloon he's tied, well, he wouldn't be tying balloons anymore.
You got that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Feliciano reveals the secret of making really big bunches of balloons. You've got to have columns, lots and lots of columns.
All right, so
Now I go like that.
Great.
You know, I don't usually admit this in public, but I used to be a face painting clown.
Oh, you know how to tie little
Balloon animals?
Maybe. Dog with a very long tail.
Beep, beep, beep. Hi.
Bye-bye.
Don't have too much fun in here.
We'll try.
I think he just saved us a ton of time. Originally, I had imagined that we were going to tie all these balloons to single strings, each balloon having a string going down to a point. But now what we're going to do is we're going to build columns. We're going to make columns of balloons, 250, and then we'll tie those together down to the kid. So it's going to save us a lot of time.
Time could really burst their bubble on this experiment. How long does it take to inflate 2,000 balloons? Can you even do it in a day? Time for a time trial.
Get set, go.
25 balloons, 3 sets of hands.
This is easy.
The clock is ticking and the team is pumped.
Come on, Scotty! 2 minutes, 20 seconds.
For 25 balloons.
Okay.
2 minutes, 20 seconds.
That was tough.
Minutes.
So, say 2,500 balloons means how long?
I mean, we got 25.
So that's
25.
2,500 times 2.
That's 1,000 times 2.2. Wait, no, wait.
Okay.
I can't listen to you guys right now.
2.
I got 2 women. I'm distracted. I mean,
No.
Eventually, they called a rocket scientist, and she came up with just under 4 hours.
God, I used to be a teacher. The kids are gonna be like, oh my God, she can't even do math anymore.
I ain't never been one for book learning.
Math will soon be the least of their worries. 4 hours is the absolute minimum inflation time. And they've only got 1 day to pull this off.
It's really not gonna be that bad.
famous last words.
Yes.
Where better to test the fairground balloon myth than an abandoned aircraft hangar?
All right, we don't have much time, guys.
We've got our balloons, we got our helium tanks, and we don't have much time. We have to blow up 2,000 balloons and get a 4-year-old off the ground by the end of today.
Fearless stunt kid Maddie is bubbling over with excitement.
Yay! Bubbles! We have bubbles. We're in luck.
2,000 balloons should send Maddie on her maiden flight.
So we were wondering, if a kid were to get carried away by balloons, where would they end up?
So we've attached little notes to our balloons to see how far they go. Somebody gets them, they'll call us.
Ready, Maddie? Let it go. Whee!
If the power of wishful thinking counts for anything, there'll be news of those balloons again someday. The team makes like they're getting ready for the world's biggest carnival.
Oh, look! You've got big, fumbly man hands.
This balloon business is child's play.
Whoa! Oh my God.
So we're doing all right.
We're golden.
All right, what number are we at?
This is gonna be 1,900.
They're ahead of schedule, and with a little luck, ahead of the game in terms of lift. time for a reality check.
What do you got down there, Carrie? Oh, God.
To avoid undue wear and tear on Maddie, they'll use a stunt kid.
Isn't she cute?
She is the exact weight as Maddie. I made her yesterday.
Oh,
They'll hook sandbag Maddie onto the balloons.
This is fantastic. This is pulling me up so hard. You know, we figured that it would hold up about 10 grams per balloon. I think we've got more lift than that.
I think my arm is about to be ripped out of its socket.
It's an impressive bunch. But how much lift do they really have?
Uh-oh.
Well, we're not getting lift.
1,900 balloons only cancel out about half the dummy's weight.
Oh, you're kidding me. She's still 20 pounds. God, I thought we were getting towards the end.
All their lofty calculations have been slapped down by gravity.
Are we sure we counted right on the balloons?
And Maddie's magical mystery flight is starting to look like an impossible dream. Jamie's dispensing rig is a neat way of shipping ping pong balls down to a sunken boat, as long as it's at the bottom of a bucket. So they scale up the experiment to a depth of 15 feet.
This thing is really heavy. Jeez. We're about to stand up a 15, 16 foot tall piece of PVC pipe here. We're to use this to test our ping pong ball rescue rig by putting a pipe all the way down to the bottom of it and seeing if we can pump ping pong balls that full distance.
That's about half the depth they'll be working in when they try to raise the sunken boat for real.
Okay, I'm gonna move the bottom over. Okay, good. Nicely done.
The white PVC pipe is filled with water to create a 15-foot slice of ocean. Adam inserts a funnel into the hose, fires up a water pump, and pours in the ping pong balls, which travel to the ocean bottom before dutifully bobbing to the surface.
That's what I like to see.
I'd say that's a working thing, right?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, cut it.
Well, let's wrap this up and figure out how to make one really big.
Okay.
The experiment has allayed some of Adam's doubts. He still can't find fault with Jamie's rig.
I actually said it was a very successful test. We had about 8 feet of hose above a 15-foot reservoir, and we got ping pong balls coming up from underneath.
Although the experiment works, Adam wants to double the depth, just to be sure. Jamie's seen enough.
If you pour the water into the tube, it's going to go out the bottom. That's what it is.
I mean, if you want to go without caution and put all our eggs in a single basket, we can, but I'm just advocating caution because I'm not sure. I'm happy to do a myth where we go out and have no caution and pick it up and have you eat it.
You
and
big
not
baby,
be upset about
stop
it.
whining.
He's such a pain in the ass about it. I mean,
you're always whining about something. You want to waste time on all sorts of crap.
Off.
A prediction. Adam's going to have to vent that anger. There you go. The pressure of this myth is starting to show.
So, I guess I got to pull this rig down myself.
I'm up here just letting off some steam right now.
Adam needs a cookie. There are times during the day when, things just get all out of hand because Adam needs a little sugar in the system and he gets all cranky over nothing.
I'm just livid. I'm exhausted of advocating caution.
I'm not the uncautious one.
I'm just thinking of all the what-ifs.
Why waste the time over this crap?
If you don't think of all the what-ifs, then you get boned out there.
This is simple. We're running a hose down into the boat and pouring ping pong balls down it.
That's probably not going to matter. That's probably not going to matter. And that's probably not going to matter.
We just tested it. It works. And stop whining. Go have a cookie.
It's a knockout. After a cookie cure, Adam's ready for more. His next opponent, a giant plastic funnel. Round 1. Round 2. Round 3.
What?
This funnel's got some fancy moves. Adam's on the ropes. Then, out of nowhere, a pile driver. Adam nails it, and he's back to normal.
What's that you say, Sonny? I can't quite hear you.
He applies the finishing touches to his high-tech funnel and completes a neat about-face in his opinion of Jamie's rig.
I'm really actually pleased with this mechanism. This is a classic Jamie ultimate simplicity. No pumps, no mechanical operations to get the ping pong balls down. All we need is water coming up and over. My big funnel is connected to the hose that will go down and hopefully deliver the ping pong balls to our sunken ship, the Jalapeno.
The MythBusters are at Monterey Bay Marina to select a sailboat to sink and then salvage using ping pong balls. Thanks to the generosity of the harbor master, they find themselves the proud owners of the Jalapeno?
Scott, what's been happening on this boat?
Well, this boat has been neglected for several years, and it was invaded by sea lions last year during the kind of a 10-year cycle that we have with sea lion infestation here in the harbor.
Over 1,000 sea lions decided to take their summer vacation at Monterey Bay, causing havoc at the marina. The invasion sank several boats, but one proved unsinkable, the Jalapeno.
This one had at least 30 or 40 different animals.
So somebody or something has already tried to sink this boat, is what you're telling me.
Tried,
and they
but failed.
Yeah, wow.
Well, it sounds perfect. Scott, this is the perfect boat for us. I think we'll take it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Oh, man. What a piece of crap.
What do you mean? This is a great boat.
I think it's perfect. Oh, we just have to figure out where to drill the right holes. The Jalapeno makes the perfect boat for the ping pong salvage myth. Number one, it's dirt cheap. Number two, it's a piece of crap, so no one will mind us sinking it. Number three, it's fiberglass and has actually a whole bunch of compartments which we can fill each with ping pong balls and then seal off and move on to the next. That's more ideal than we could have hoped for.
Little rotten wood here and there, and a lot of chipped and peeling paint. Otherwise, I think it'll serve our purpose nicely.
We have to clean it really well before we sink it in a protected wildlife sanctuary of Monterey Bay. Shall we start to try and clean this puppy?
There it goes.
With the Jalapeno stripped down to its bare essentials, the guys make some minor last-minute interior adjustments. To refloat the boat from the ocean floor, the ping pong balls must have access to every nook and cranny of cabin space. Sinking a boat is not as easy as you'd think. With the cabin makeover complete, it's time to batten down the hatches. The guys want to be sure that when they fill her with ping pong balls, she doesn't burst open. But they're up against the clock.
What the hell time is it? We're late.
Yeah, it's like almost 4 o'clock.
What?
It's almost like 4 o'clock.
When everything is ship-shape, the Jalapeno is renamed. It's time to scuttle Mythtanic number 2. The doomed vessel is towed to a safe location on the other side of the marina. With the final leg in sight, the boys slip into something less comfortable. Jamie seems to be going camouflaged as a walrus. The sun is sinking, but Mythtanic 2 is still afloat. The MythBusters are determined that she keeps her appointment with the ocean floor. She's already survived the onslaught of over 40 sea lions, each weighing in at around 800 pounds. Now the MythBusters flood her with water. Adam starts to wonder if she'll ever go under.
How hard is this thing to boat?
A crowd gathers to wave farewell to Mythtanic 2. As she finally surrenders, Adam scrambles to the bow. As Mythtanic 2 descends towards the ocean floor, up above, the guys are in MythBusters heaven.
About 3 minutes ago, we just had what is a classic MythBusters, what the f are we doing kind of moment. We just successfully sank the Methane 2. While we were doing it, we took the opportunity to bust the Titanic myth one more time. This boat sunk on a tiny point left up above the water, and I stood on that point and air bubbled around me, and I did not go down with this ship. So, you know, I'm glad we're able to take care of ancillary myths as we go.
Busted again!
I'm totally popped on adrenaline. I think I need a cookie.
It's been a blast, but sinking the boat's a breeze compared to what they'll face in the morning when the ping pong salvage starts for real.
There's a little bit of lift, but
not enough.
Back at the balloon challenge, young Maddie is showing patience beyond her years. By now, she should have been lifted up, up and away. But someone's messed up, big time. The build team estimated 2,000 balloons would be enough to get her airborne.
Yes, this is truly my arm just being lifted by these balloons.
Instead, it seems they'll need twice that, and time is against them.
Didn't we calculate that the flying times of these balloons would be about 6 hours?
Better work faster.
Not only will they struggle to blow up that many balloons today, but with every minute that passes, the balloons that are inflated lose some of their helium and lifting power.
We might be in like 6,000 balloons by the time we get the kid in the air.
Oh my God, my fingers can't take it.
Suddenly, everything is going wrong.
Balloons are popping. Balloons are deflating.
Balloons are escaping. And with time slipping away, Tori goes fishing.
go, 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 go. Get up there. Yeah, there you go. And they said my ideas are crazy.
Whether it's fear of failure and MythBusters ridicule,
Ow, I need that finger.
or just the dread of a screaming Maddie, the builders blow and tie and curse their way towards a balloon bunch of mythic proportions.
Well, if our count is correct, we are now at 3,000 balloons, which is about 1,000 more than we originally expected.
My fingers are toast.
I guess we should do another test with the dummy, huh?
Once more, a sinking sandbag Maddie reveals the terrible truth.
7 more pounds. We only have to lift 7 more pounds.
500 more balloons coming up.
This myth is starting to smell busted. What carnival balloon vendor in his right mind would create a bunch this big, then hand it to a child?
I have never seen that many balloons, not even at the county fair.
But try telling that to Maddie, who's been promised a flight.
This will get us up to 3,500 balloons.
That's a lot of trouble for a little girl and a big myth. But finally, Maddie's moment has arrived.
Maddie, it's go time.
Woohoo!
All right.
Safety line in hand.
Wait. I got a safety line.
You ready?
Yes.
Look at that!
Oh my gosh!
Maddie will forever be burdened by having a story so amazing that none of her friends believe it.
It worked!
That's the price of showing that while you can lift a kid with party balloons, you just need far too many for the myth to be plausible.
I would say we popped that myth.
Totally busted. There's no way that a circus would have this many balloons in one bunch.
Yeah!
Busted? Did someone say busted? Time to unleash the evil child within. Sure, Freddie and Jason look scary, but for real bang for her buck, Scotty's flashing back to her street performing days. Oh, the humanity.
Scotty, I think your method might be the most effective.
Oh, and remember those balloons set free to roam the world? Well, one bunch turned up at the Sequoia National Park, 300 miles away. The other two, they never write, they never call. A truckload of ping pong balls rolls south to a rendezvous with the MythBusters. Meanwhile, at a cold and foggy Monterey Bay, there's something very fishy going on.
It seems that you can't plan for everything. There's a fish processing factory behind us, and they're unloading a few thousand pounds of squid, a good portion of which seems to be chumming the very water that we're going to be raising the Methane in. We're emboldened by the fact that there's only been one shark attack in the recorded history of Monterey Bay.
Gallons of squid juice are creating a stink. This myth is putting the pong into ping pong.
Well, the second problem is directly a result of the first, is that all this fish juice that is enticing marine animals to come and feed is also limiting our visibility a lot. So hopefully it'll wash away, but we'll just have to take it as it comes as we go today.
Busting this myth is a tall order without the added perils of sharks and poor visibility. As they race the ping pong balls towards the bay, the guys call in expert help from Robert Flores, a professional salvage diver.
Robert, have you heard the myth about somebody that tried to float a sunken boat with a bunch of ping pong balls?
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it happen before.
Oh, what do you think? Is it possible?
If you can get the ping pong balls underwater and you get enough of them in there, I think you can get it to float.
Robert, what are the dangers in doing this kind of salvage work?
In this kind of a situation, you're going to be working inside of a vessel, so you got an overhead environment. You got to be particularly careful of your air consumption rate. And of course, a dramatic loss in buoyancy. For a hatch cover to blow open or the ping pong balls to escape dramatically would cause the vessel to immediately sink again. And if anybody's in it, underneath it, or near it and gets caught in any of the ribbing or ropes, it could be extremely dangerous.
You feel like helping us?
I'd be glad to give you a hand. I want to watch this one happen.
The truck has arrived, and the team get to work unloading 60,000 ping pong balls. Moving this mountain falls to Myth-Turn Christine, and it's getting up her nose.
They stink. Never imagined ping pong balls would smell so bad. The worst case scenario is actually going to happen to me today, which is to collect 60,000 ping pong balls and find a place to put them.
First blood falls to the box cutter.
Another MythBuster injury. I've had candy exploded on my face, I've been shocked twice, I had scaffolding fall near me, and now this.
Can she stay the distance?
Yes, I think I will survive the series, but I think I'll probably use up 8 of my 9 lives.
Christine can take care of herself, but the local wildlife need protecting. Adam and Jamie seek advice from Rachel Saunders of the Monterey Bay Marine Sanctuary.
We're actually about to potentially release like 60,000 ping pong balls into this marine sanctuary. And what would be like a worst case scenario with those ping pong balls, do you think?
Well, we would want to make sure that no marine animals swallowed them, for example, and hurt them in any way. So that would be the primary concern. If they swallowed it, it might get lodged in their throat, and they could choke. They might pass it through, but you don't know.
You know, I think Jamie here actually possesses a certification in otter CPR, actually.
Right. Well, hopefully that won't happen, and we won't have to learn how that would work.
Forewarned is forearmed. The guys decide to seal off the salvage area to keep marine life and ping pong balls apart.
Hey, Jamie, they're calling you.
They saw the mustache.
Yeah.
While Adam feeds the rig up above, Jamie and Dive Master Robert will be down below at the business end, marshalling balls into Mythanic 2. The rig works, and Jamie clocks in for the early shift on the ocean floor. They're off, and the first of an estimated 50,000 ping pong balls are pumped into Mythanic 2. Things seem to be rolling along. Hold up, there's a holdup. When Adam feeds in too many balls at once, the system chokes. He's reduced to feeding them in a handful at a time. 1 hour into this myth, and spirits are sinking.
At this point, I've only emptied like 4 or 5 boxes. That's like 6,000 or 7,000 ping pong balls. I don't think that means that 50,000 needs to take 10 hours, but we're gonna have to pick up the pace in order for us to get a reasonable amount of balls into there in a reasonable amount of time.
Then Robert pops up with a suggestion.
I think the hose is still too long. I got all this slack and I got all the photos. If you can take about another 10 or 12 feet off of this thing.
I can take 10 feet off in 5 seconds.
The long hose is looping in the water, and the downward flow of ping pong balls is being reversed on the uphill sections. So the balls aren't reaching the boat in large enough numbers. The MythBusters hope that by cutting the hose to length, the flow from funnel to boat will be smoother and faster. Adam lops the hose in half, and they try again, with dramatic results. With one simple modification, the dispensing rig runs like clockwork, and they're having a ball. Soon, Methane 2 contains enough ping pong balls to become neutrally buoyant. Her stern remains on the bottom, but her bow is floating free, and she's still only half filled with balls. News reaches the surface, and Adam's on top of the world.
Oh, that's cool.
The most critical phase of the salvage is approaching, and it's also the most dangerous by far. At Monterey Bay, the MythBusters' bid to salvage a sunken boat using ping pong balls lies in the balance.
We're trying to lift this boat from its deck, something the deck was never intended to do. So it's possible once we get enough ping pong balls under there and it's trying to lift the 1,800-pound keel, that the deck will just rip right off the boat and we'll have 30,000 ping pong balls inside of our boom here.
As the upward pressure in the Methane reaches critical, Adam continues to feed balls into the funnel. Suddenly, hundreds of them bob up from below. That could be hours of work floating to the surface.
Oh no, they're coming up.
Jamie?
Hold on. Can you hear me? Over.
Robert surfaces with a damage report. He's okay, but Methane 2 has ruptured.
Here's somebody. There we go. What's going on down there?
There's a window on top. We didn't even see it. A piece of wood glued in that blew out.
Shoot.
We need to find a way to put it up underneath and then fill it with ping pong balls again.
On the front of the boat, there was this hatch on the bow that we screwed down. That hole blew out, it seems, from pressure of the ping pong balls, because we were up here pumping the balls down, and all of a sudden, ping pong balls start shooting up out of the water.
A new hatch cover is quickly improvised. Robert fits it from the inside. So as the ping pong balls pack in behind it, they'll force shut the hole. The dispensing rig swings into high gear, and the MythBusters are back in business.
Oh yeah, they're going.
The ping pong balls fly into the depths, and before long, there's 26,000 of them inside Methane 2. That's just over half the number they estimate they'll need to raise her. Suddenly, Robert hits the surface with unexpected news.
Now she's standing straight up. She's getting kind of close, ready to float up. So I'm low on air. Jamie, it's your turn. Go finish her up.
This is the moment of truth. Either this gag is going to work or it's not.
Just in case you were wondering, Jamie isn't referring to the gag about the diver and the beret.
The boat is upright, it's teetering. So we know we've got a lot of flotation in there. It's a question of overcoming the weight of the keel in this boat. These boats have a lead keel. So it's anybody's guess whether it's actually going to work.
The good news is that the main cabin is still empty, so there's plenty of room for more balls. The bad news is that according to their calculations, they need to pump at least another 24,000 of them to get Methane 2 out of the mud.
I think it's going to work. It's going to be close.
Jamie goes below for what looks like another long shift. But before long, Methane 2 seems to be straining at the leash. A premature resurrection may be imminent. Up top, the excitement mounts.
I'm cautiously optimistic that it's maybe an hour until this boat breaks the surface and confirms this myth.
Take that caution and throw it to the wind. Because even as Adam speaks, Methane 2 stirs. then slowly rises from her watery grave. Way ahead of schedule, the ping pong balls float the MythBusters boat. The 9-hour marathon salvage is over.
Raise the Methane too.
We succeeded, of all things. We got the Methane to the surface using about 27,000 ping pong balls, all told, which is a lot less than I thought we'd need. But she's on the surface. We did it.
The guys had calculated that it would take at least 50,000 ping pong balls to raise Methane 2. But they did it with just over half that number. Methane 2 is winched onto the dock, and the guys gather for a post-mortem.
Oh, you're the man. Got it. Okay. I thought we were going to do it, Jimmy, but I didn't realize we were going to do it that easily.
It didn't really seem like it took that many. None of the compartments were packed like I thought we were going to need to really get every last nook and cranny filled for this to work.
Well, we had to use less because the fiberglass was more buoyant.
And the wood.
And the
Something
wood.
we didn't take into account at the beginning.
Adam, the pump, did it work well? What's the deal?
The pump actually worked. It got the balls down there. I would have liked to have seen them move a little faster, and it took a little dialing in, but overall, for the simplest possible rig we could have designed, it worked like a charm.
And who would have ever thought that you could pour ping pong balls down into the bottom of the ocean?
Exactly.
Actually, the guys were beaten to the idea by a duck. Over 70 years ago, Donald and his nephews came up with a ping pong ball dispensing rig uncannily similar to Jamie's. And like the MythBusters, the comic book Poultry also achieved success.
Well, guys, ping pong ball salvage. Busted, plausible, or confirmed?
Amazingly, I'd say this one is entirely plausible.
Yeah, plausible, not practical though.
But you never think anything's really practical, do you?
What are you talking about?
But wait, there's still time for the ping pong gong.
So what do you think, Robert? Have we busted the field of salvage technology wide open? Are ping pong balls a reasonable way to salvage a boat?
I wouldn't give up my day job yet.
No.
No.
How did Jamie do as a salvage diver?
Well, I think Jamie did an outstanding job. And as part of that, our dive team has all voted and we got together, and Jamie, we'd like to present you with an honorary Navy salvage dive pin.
Wow.
And hopefully you'll come out and dive with us again sometime, or call us out the next time you want to do some salvage diving.
Well, that's wonderful, Robert. Thanks.
You're welcome very much.
What am I, chopped liver?
On this episode, the MythBusters lose total control.
Jamie!
In the quest to pole vault a car with its own drive shaft.
Yeah!
And the shocking truth
Not true!
of Buster's bathroom blaze.
Yeah, okay, now he's fully on fire.
In the mystery of the exploding porta-potty. Plus, Adam's childhood secret finally revealed.
Mr. Whipple, the roof is leaking all over the new Shoreman.
Who are the MythBusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
And Jamie Heineman.
Quack, damn you.
I wouldn't say Jamie's an evil genius.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
When will the fun ever stop?
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
We've done an awful lot of car myths on MythBusters, Jamie, but this one's actually quite interesting. The idea is that a car going at speed could have its drive shaft fall out, catch in a hole, and actually launch that car.
You mean completely get the car airborne then, right?
Absolutely. Actually, even end over end. I don't even know where we're going to begin with this one.
Finding a car might be a good start.
Now there's a car. Can I start it up?
Go for it.
The MythBusters uncovered many stories of drive shaft disasters dating back to the 1960s.
Hop in the trunk, Scotty.
Yeah. All right. Get out of here.
And they actually spoke to someone who had pole vaulted a 1967 Plymouth Fury.
Jamie, this is a car we could really cruise chicks and suck face in.
Yeah.
Looks like Jamie and Adam have found a Fury to call their own.
Yep. I like this car. I think we should get it.
And wreck it? I really don't have a good feeling about destroying this car.
There's no sentimentality in science. I'm just gonna have to get used to it.
It's our mission to destroy this car, no matter what.
And the Fury does fit the bill for the MythBusters.
Personally, I'd rather use this car than anything else. When we did the American Graffiti rear axle being pulled out, you know, we used a newer model of car and we got a lot of guff for it. And I'd rather not have to deal with that kind of guff and have people think that, you know, Myth is unbusted.
It's about the myth, you know, it's that's the car.
Thank you very much. You're doing a good deed for science.
Well, we've got our car. Now I guess we have to rig the drive shaft.
Yeah, and I actually noticed underneath our car, the drive shaft, which isn't represented here, let's say this is it, actually has two universal joints, one right outside the transmission and one right in front of the rear differential. And this is actually perfect for us. The first is the one that would fail right by the transmission, and the second is the hinge that the drive shaft would ride down on to catch in the pothole.
Yeah, well, it looks like the tough part's going to be to figure out how to disengage that front universal joint.
They still need the drive shaft to drive the car, right up to the moment it hits the pothole. That rules out any mechanical device on the spinning shaft. Scotty gets up close and personal with the drive shaft.
One drive shaft coming up. For you, one nice greasy part, guaranteed to get your shirt dirty.
You have a 7260, which is the small Chrysler.
Meet Rick Brown, the big daddy of drive shafts. Rick works in the biggest drive shaft shop in California.
I gotta comb my hair.
And he's seen his fair share of failed U-joints.
Like there's a failure. There's an on-the-road failure right there.
Okay.
Now, I was thinking we cut one of these just enough, say we take about 85% of it off.
Jamie and Adam are now ready for their favorite experiment, auto wreck madness. But first, it's time to revisit another old friend, the exploding toilet.
Well, guys, you seem to have tracked down an exploding toilet myth. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we already do this last season? No.
This isn't an exploding toilet, like a house toilet. This is an exploding porta-potty. In the one that you did before, it was caused by either bug spray or gasoline poured into the toilet. This is totally different.
The build team uncovered a story about a man who lit up a cigarette in a porta-potty in West Virginia. His lighter ignited a buildup of methane gas, blowing the porta-potty apart, leaving him with third-degree burns and some unfinished business.
We know this happened in West Virginia, but what we don't believe is the explanation that the methane gas built up from decomposing human waste.
That the explosion was caused by the methane gas.
Exactly.
But Tori and Scotty are keen to see if methane could cause a porta-potty to blow.
So basically, we're going to pump methane into the holding tank. We're also going to have a blower going through the holding tank in case the methane doesn't go off, so that we can...
You can vent the whole thing and approach it safely.
Exactly.
Now, Adam's had a thing about toilets for a long time, ever since his teen TV debut 20 years ago.
We're almost finished.
Looking good, Jimmy.
Oh, Kate. Mr. Whipple, the roof is leaking all over the new Charmin.
Don't worry. This
Yes, that really is Adam under that mop of red hair.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For a porta-potty to call their own, the build team called on potty salesman John French.
Have any of your porta potties ever come back blown up?
I've never known anybody. I've been in the business now for going on 30 years. I know a lot of people across the country, and nobody's ever had a toilet blow up.
That blue stuff is only supposed to be scent and coloring, but could it cause an explosive mix?
You can call any of the people up that sell this solution, and the salesman will come out and drink it for you. It can be, it's very harmless.
A test drive or two later, Scotty's found herself a sporty one-seater.
I like it.
Back at work, Adam's got a very nasty surprise.
Last bodily fluid I have yet to contribute to the show. I've got poo in a box and I'm not afraid to use it. Oh, you guys. I've got a present for you.
Every time you show up, I'm scared. What are you doing now?
Christmas comes early to MythBusters. What I've got here are samples for you.
Oh, I didn't ask Santa Claus for that.
Adam's curious to see if human waste can produce enough methane to create an explosion.
I know you guys wanted to test the methane output of poo.
Not really.
Well, that's your job today, and I've got some samples for you.
You will be putting these into the container.
Oh, it smells warm. Shall we proceed to the part that will get edited out?
I'm not looking.
My question is, why do you have them on ice? Are you afraid they were going to go bad?
You guys want to get your respirators and rubber gloves on?
I'm not doing this. You don't pay me enough.
Carrie just got herself a new job, biohazard wrangler.
I don't feel prepared.
All right, 15 grams.
I'm gonna throw up in my mask.
No, you're not.
I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Okay, Carrie, I need you to hold that. Just hold it down here. This is gonna be the straight tap water.
Adam's samples will go into 3 flasks, one with water, one with urine, and one with blue toilet liquid, with a 4th empty for control to see which mix, if any, produces the most methane.
I can't believe I went to college for this. Now, after that humiliation, I'm going to do the first methane test. See, the bars right here indicating that there is a very low reading of methane gas. It's not actually giving us a percentage because it's so low.
The flasks are only showing minute traces of methane. Carrie will test again in a few days' time to see if there's any buildup of gas.
It does seem that Adam is one of the 40% of people that can produce methane. Lucky for us. Do we still have that stuff that gets skunk out of the air? Here's another popular misconception, is that methane gas is what creates the odor. It's the sulfur that's created inside you, which I have to say Adam has quite a bit of. Oh, I can still smell it.
Jamie and Adam are the proud new owners of a 1967 Fury, the same model car featured in the myth of the drive shaft pole vault. After weakening the Fury's drive shaft, they need to find a way to break it on cue, and Jamie's got an idea. At high speed, he's going to throw the gear into neutral, rev the engine, then jam it back into drive. The high rev should snap the weakened U-joint and drop the shaft on cue. And that's not all. They'll also be driving by remote control.
Do it a little bit, see what it does.
And Jamie and Adam have 4,000 pounds of V8 Fury to tame.
And this one is by far the most advanced rig we've ever installed in a car.
We're not only just controlling the throttle and the brake as we've done most other times, but we're also controlling the shifter, and we've got a brand new steering control using some very high-tech servo drivers for the motor.
I can precisely control it. Right here is straight ahead, and now we're turning to the right, so it works perfectly.
Now that Jamie's got the steering under control, Adam's got the tricky task of figuring out the brakes.
It doesn't matter how many times I build this circuit, I always need to draw it out, and it's always really confusing. That's the brake, isn't that pretty? It's arguably the most critical part of the whole operation because you have to be able to stop the car. I mean, that's just critical. That's the emergency thing. The entire remote control system is set up so that if it fails, if it loses its signal, it automatically depresses the brake.
The hardest part of the remote rig is calibrating 4 different control systems.
Steering, throttle, brake. Steering, throttle, brake.
We have a servo, a custom-made servo that's mounted to the steering wheel. We have another servo that is set up to shift. We can go forward, reverse, neutral. We have a third servo, which is on the throttle. And then lastly, we have an electronic piston that pushes on the brake on cue. And so it can put the brakes on or off or somewhere in between.
The remote rig has got a big job to do.
From a distance, we have to be able to, say, thread a needle with this car. Tell me when I'm straight.
Okay, a little more, more. Perfect.
Just surviving this myth might be a victory in itself. The test site, an abandoned runway, is perfect for playing with 2 tons of high-powered Detroit steel.
You couldn't ask for a better spot than this. We have a white line straight as an arrow. We got like thousands of feet in all directions that we could lose control of the car without causing any damage. We should be good. It's a lovely day. We're going to have some fun.
The only ones not having fun are the pothole diggers. But Tori wants to brighten up Scotty and Carrie's day with his 2-wheeled tricks.
You smell that?
What's that?
Bad things. Let's egg him on until he hurts himself.
Yeah, looks like you cleared it. Go for it.
Does it?
Scotty's wish is Tori's command.
And you wonder why you always see him getting hurt.
I'm okay.
Now that's a pole vault. It's so disturbing, let's see it again, in slow motion. But kids, remember, don't try this at home.
Why do I always laugh when you get hurt? That looks so bad. God, I can't believe you did that.
I thought I was gonna make it. We're doing the hole in a V to help guide it.
Oh, okay.
Just like a pole vault, the hole should guide and catch the drive shaft, lifting the car into the air.
This is 3 feet wide here. I measured 4 feet from inside to inside on the tires, and the goal is to actually release it back here about 20 feet to try and do that and then have it slide into the hole.
Oh, okay. So what if the friction of the asphalt just kicks it up before you even get to the hole?
We're prepared for all those things, but here's hoping that it works the first time out.
Yeah, as it rarely does.
Yeah.
I have to say, the jackhammer makes you look really tough. The little red wagon?
Not so much.
Big ass pothole. I wouldn't want to go into that. Boy, this is a crapshoot, isn't it?
This is one of our biggest crapshoots yet. Yeah, without a doubt.
Despite the odds, our crapshooters are staying relaxed.
I could sit here and watch them do that all day.
It's delivery day for the star of the exploding porta-potty experiment. One used porta-potty for methane demolition. Sign here.
This one empty?
I hope so. Oh, man. Do I have the best job or what?
The build team want to see if methane can fuel a porta-potty explosion. So first, they need a hole to pump the methane gas in.
What is on your forehead?
Is it poo?
Oh, there's some crust on this side of your head. I'm not getting it for you.
Oh, right there.
Yeah, wipe that off.
A vent hole will help blow the gas out if it doesn't ignite.
Oh, it is not pretty.
Tori needs an ignition source for the methane. And what could be better than Adam's lighter rig from the original exploding toilet myth?
See how well it works now? With my modifications. There we go.
Tori thinks he can improve on Adam's rig. And the master has some advice for his lighting apprentice.
Go to a store that sells a bunch of, like a smoke shop, and get 5 or 6 different kinds of lighters. Choose the one we think is most reliable and most available.
What is this for?
Adam is keen for Tori to build a protective casing for the lighter rig.
But something that can handle an explosion.
That way we don't burn Jamie's servo.
We don't burn the servo, we don't.
the lighter.
Oh, God. Somebody's showering today in disinfectant.
So after many hours of rethinking and refiguring, I came up with a new ignition system. I call it Block O Wood. It's a little simpler than Adam's. I hope it works. Yeah! See? Simple can always be better. Adam just needs to learn that.
You know, when I woke up this morning, I thought, what do I really want to do? I want to test Adam's poo.
Carrie has her second date with Adam's methane-producing flasks.
It has a slightly higher reading than control, but it's still not registering. There's really not a good enough methane gas buildup in here.
With a second low methane reading, it's looking unlikely that human waste caused the methane blast in the West Virginia porta-potty. They'll use commercial bottled methane gas for the next test. And at Porta-Potty Central, there's a lot to get right.
This is MythBusters. Of course I'm expecting problems.
The San Francisco Fire Department will deal with any toilet infernos.
Come on, lazy!
And Scotty and Christine will deal with any grass that needs watering. The gas will be pumped into the toilet, and it can also be ventilated out from a safety zone 100 feet away.
Go ahead. Okay, I'm just turning the tank on now.
I'm already getting a reading.
The methane meter will be critical. The gas level has to be between 10 and 15%.
70, 80, 90, it's up to 98%.
Too much or too little won't trigger an explosion.
Maybe we should turn it off.
Yeah, I'm getting a little dizzy.
This is all going way too well.
I know,
It's way too smooth.
Let's just enjoy it. Let's not think about it.
With any luck, we'll go off without a hitch before we have even lunch.
That's the kind of thing you regret saying on MythBusters. Tori wants to make sure his lighter works before Jamie and Adam arrive.
It's lighting.
Good deal, it worked.
Oh, good.
Oh, you gotta lift the lid, dude.
Cleanliness first.
Busters volunteered his behind to seal in the methane gas that Scotty will pump into the waste tank.
The Thunderbox.
With the lighter in place, Tori's confident his rig is one up on Adam's.
We improved the ignition system because that other one, well, the other one sucked. And
Tori soon realizes his trash-talking days may be numbered.
yeah, that smart aleck remark I made about Adam's rig sucking, it's gonna come back and bite me.
Tank is on. You guys ready for the gas?
The first test will see if methane pumped into the potty's tank ignites when Buster lights up.
Still at 0.
Carrie reads the meter from the remote camera.
Okay, looks like we're up to 12%.
Adam pulls back the methane hose to a safe distance as Tori hits the igniter.
Is an igniter working?
And we're back down to 1.5%.
No bang. Those toilet vents seem to be doing their job too well.
All right, so that's pretty much myth busted then.
Well, you know, I'd like to go make sure your ignition system actually worked.
Tori's lighter isn't the problem.
Oh, okay, good.
So it's big bathroom bang, take 2.
Initiate the gas. Okay, tank is on. Gas is flowing.
I feel it.
Carrie, what do we got?
0.
It looks like this baby is just too well designed.
You know, I just think the toilet's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, which is to get rid of any excess methane. I mean, it's going into the box, it's going out the top. Let's cut it. Let's cut it and tape up the vents and see what happens.
This time, they'll block all the vents and fill up the whole porta-potty with gas.
The MythBusters seal up all the vents before going for their final porta-potty explosion.
Methane's lighter than air, so we've got our meter set about midpoint in the porta-potty, which means that when we get 15% down there, we'll have a fair amount of methane up top. I think we're gonna get a pretty good explosion this time.
Start the gas!
Okay, gas is flowing.
I hear it. I hear it.
Oh, here we go. 2%.
2%.
4, 5.
Sealing the vents has made all the difference.
Oh, we're up to 20%.
All right, countdown. 3, 2, 1.
Firing.
Houston, we have ignition.
Is it moving?
Oh, there's fire! Burning. Oh, yeah. Buster's caught on fire.
Oh, no.
Shall we ventilate? We can ventilate, but it's going to accelerate the bonfire.
What's your guys' plan?
I say accelerate, and then I'll run in there with the fire extinguisher.
Tell me whether it speeds it up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, now he's fully on fire.
Venting has only added more oxygen to Buster's problem.
Don't enter till it's ventilated. Don't open it.
You have 10% right now.
That's good.
They got a good burn, but no bang.
Well, that was kind of fun.
Poor Buster.
From where I was watching, it looked like the toilet paper ignited, and then it fell and lit his crotch on fire. And then when we ventilated, it lit him entirely on fire. It didn't look like a methane explosion.
Well, if the methane didn't go off with that source of ignition, it wasn't gonna.
So, what's the next plan?
The plan is the ignition rig is completely burned up. Oh. So the lighter is completely destroyed.
Really? Did I cover part of this in some of my advice to you?
I tell myself that was gonna bite me in the end. Yeah.
I guess we don't have a plan B because we kind of expected plan A to go off without a hitch.
You should never, ever, ever expect plan A to go off without a hitch. Usually, Jamie and I, it's plan D.
Tori's plan B is borrow lighter and bind with duct tape.
I had to rip on Adam's rig, didn't I?
It's time to put the drive shaft pole vault to the test. It all looked so easy on that piece of blue paper back in the workshop. This is the MythBusters' most complicated remote control rig, controlling steering, gas, brakes, and gears. There's a lot that can go wrong.
And this thing is touchy. Really? It is like you just barely nudge the stick and it's like off to one side or the other.
What do we do if this thing goes out of control?
Go stand behind that forklift.
I'm gonna run near you.
That won't help.
No.
Once again, Jamie is proved right. As the car turns on its makers.
That'll get your adrenaline running.
We should
identify a safe area, and that would be like go for the forklift. If you see the car doing something weird, you know, get over there. Seriously, it's a big heavy-duty machine. It could kill you.
Let me get in it.
Okay.
The words heavy-duty killing machine have a strange attraction for Adam.
I'm ready when you are, Jamie.
He opts for a rear window seat. Adam's got absolutely no control, but then neither does Jamie.
Oh my God.
Oh! Jamie!
Whoops.
Whoops. I'm okay!
Did Adam bring it on purpose? Are they fighting?
What the hell was that?
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what, you know, it's like.
That was thrilling, I have to say. That was.
Did you shut it off or did I get it? Did it shut itself off?
It shut itself off.
Okay.
This is right where Adam started swearing and screaming.
No, really. Really, I was just like, hey, look, I'm going towards the fence.
The brake failsafe stopped the car when it lost the signal. Otherwise, Adam would be on the interstate by now.
Does anybody else want to go for a ride?
Yeah, you put it right on that pole.
Yeah.
Is it there, Tim?
They'll never know.
It's trying to be sneaky.
Jamie has learned one new trick.
Car goes in reverse. That's a brand new development in RC cars from MythBusters. It's the biggest toy in the world.
And car also goes out of control. That's not a new development.
Car's gone.
No! No! Stop! Jamie, hop
The
in.
Fury is headed for a swan dive into the bay.
What happened?
I think what happened was that it took off before I had all of the switches on.
You only had a couple hundred more feet and we were in the drink.
I think what happened this last time was just plain old human error, namely me.
Jamie's realized this job is too much for one mere MythBuster. He needs another pair of hands on the remote. With Scotty driving them in the pickup, Jamie can concentrate on the steering, throttle, and brakes, while Adam takes over the shifter.
This is pure dumb luck, you know, if it works, and that's why I wanted Adam on it. Everybody's ready, okay.
Be gentle, Scotty.
They want to hit the hole at 35 miles per hour. Scotty plays catch up in the pickup, calling out the speed as Jamie gasses the Fury.
25. 35.
I'm thinking.
Don't talk to me.
Sorry.
The new division of labor is working. After hitting the pothole twice at the right speed, it's time to swap over to the weakened drive shaft and go for the drive shaft pole vault for real.
Well, this is going pretty much like any MythBusters shoot. We've spent most of the day and a good portion of the afternoon just tricking out the mechanics of our remote control car.
Now the easiest part is done. We're facing the hard part, which is actually getting the damn drive shaft into the pothole. And who knows whether that one's going to work or not.
Cool.
Stay clear of the car.
Stay clear of the probably out of control car.
Out of control car is Adam's way of saying ready to go.
We're ready.
Slower.
15. 20.
That's a good distance. Catch up with it.
25.
The first run is on target, but the drive shaft didn't drop.
Brakes are on.
Okay.
Something didn't work quite right, and I saw some tire skids, and it wasn't from brakes.
No, it wasn't. That was from reverse.
Okay, well,
so what happened?
You know what that means.
Yes, it means that our drive shaft is too strong.
Yes.
So let's get this car back to position 1. Let's further weaken the drive shaft.
Yeah.
Adams accidentally had a reverse gear revelation.
Basically, when I jammed the car into neutral, I accidentally left it in reverse, and the tires screeched, which told us an important fact, which is you can jam this car into reverse at speed, which is actually an ideal way to put so much tension on the drive shaft that will crack it. That's pretty weak. I mean, that's as weak as I can make it while it's still on the car.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Adams got his fingers crossed the shaft will snap this time around. Pity he left those same fingers in Scotty's door.
No, it's not your fault.
Sorry.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, all clear. Door closing.
Door closing.
25.
The Fury is traveling straight and true.
30.
Back to neutral.
But the drive shaft still won't budge.
Good timing, though. I think we were spot on. The speed was good.
The speed was perfect, and our timing was great. So we need to pull it out quickly and weaken it further.
Okay. Driving it back.
Okay, back to 0.
This U-joint is proving to be one tough hombre.
And it's handling an awful lot so far. I don't want to do this again.
It's not recommended to do this to your own drive shaft.
It's becoming clear that snapping the drive shaft relies more on dumb luck than cutting-edge science.
There's very little actually holding that universal joint together.
Starting to look like Swiss cheese now or something.
Yeah, it is. It's really looking aerated.
One Swiss cheese drive shaft ready to go.
All right, let's go.
Hold on, car died.
The Plymouth Fury hasn't even left the starting line.
Oh, well, the second we went to start up the car, the yoke just failed. I mean, I weakened it too much.
They've got spare U-joints, but not much spare time.
Adam, do you think it might be just easier to pull the drive shaft and weld it out here? Yeah, I would take that as a yes.
Go. Let's take it back.
All right.
Turn around, Scotty. Okay.
Quick reset, quick reset.
Too much or too little? Find out next on MythBusters.
There ain't much holding that thing in place, I'll tell you.
25.
Get it in, we can get it in. And
30.
One more run and one more missed pothole.
we got time for one more reset. I see 3 more inches of sun. We got 20 minutes.
With a batting average of 0, are the MythBusters about to strike out?
Come on, please make this happen.
20. 25. 30.
I think we're cooked for today.
I think we're cooked for today. Damn it.
Ow.
Sorry.
The definition of fury is violent, intense anger. And Adam's feeling the fury right now.
You want to shoot some more? I think we're all done. I think that's it for today.
The MythBusters are done for today, but not beaten.
I want to come back. I'm dying to come back. I can't let this story air with us having been busted.
Here goes the gas.
It's been a typical MythBuster day, testing the exploding Porta-potty myth. First, the methane gas failed to ignite.
Still at 0.
Then Buster caught on fire and destroyed the lighter rig. Adam's still full of that good old MythBuster optimism.
I'm really looking forward to test number 3, where we actually put the meter on the bottom, build up methane in the entire porta-potty, and then I hope we watch porta-potty pieces shooting out into the bay.
The lighter-than-air methane will fill up the whole potty before it reaches the meter.
Let's go for the money shot.
All right, tank is on, ready for gas?
The methane level has to be between 10 and 15% to ignite.
Oh, I hear it.
1.9,
You got a little
2%.
toilet paper hanging above the thing? Yeah. It's gonna ignite?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Carrie reads the methane meter on potty cam.
We're really close.
And 3, 2, 1, go!
Firing.
Is it igniting the toilet paper?
No, the toilet paper is not igniting.
Oh, Tor.
Both Tori and his lighter seem to have lost their spark.
Yeah, I want to see the sadness in his eyes.
There's a toilet paper that's dangling next to it. It's not catching.
I'm gonna stick it right
Hold
in
on,
front.
evacuate it first for 2 minutes, okay?
We're down to 8% gas.
That's fine. We're going to evacuate the tank and reset the lighter for a second. All right, 2 minutes from now, we'll go in.
Maybe it's a myth that methane is flammable.
It's not a myth. We're just idiots. This is a point in the day, which we've come to many times, where we start to go, what else do we have that's flammable in the truck?
The firemen have something flammable in their truck and a new plan. First, light flare, then add gas.
We're gonna put a flare in there burning and slowly elevate the gas until it finally does explode, because we're getting really, really impatient with all of this anticlimactic stuff.
Come on, let's go!
Start the gas.
Gas.
Gladly.
7.8, 0.9.
The first flash of success. Thank you, San Francisco Fire Department.
He looked pretty bad to start with. I don't think he looks so bad now.
I think the urinal got it worse.
Well, are you guys satisfied with that?
That was cool. You want to do it again?
Yeah, let's do it again.
Surprisingly, the meter was at just 0.9% when the methane ignited. Adam believes its position has been the problem all along.
What it's highly likely is that 0.9% on the bottom equals an overall density of about 15%. That's the problem we were having. When we were reading 15 down there, it was so rich that just there was nothing for the lighter to actually ignite with. There was no oxygen.
For the final test, there's no meter and no fancy ignition rig.
We tried to make all these complex rigs to ignite, and it boils down to simple. Simple is better.
There's no more meters, so we'll just count down.
All right, initiate the gas.
Oh, I can hear it.
This time, it's just light candle, add gas, and wait for a big bang.
This should be the most exciting one yet.
Jesus.
You didn't need that here, did you?
You know, it's just as boring as last time. Hey!
Yay! We have explosion!
Finally, the sweet, sweet funk of porta-potty success.
Good work, Carrie. Scotty. So get this all cleaned up and I'll see you back at the shop.
Thank you very much, Adam. Really appreciate you leaving for the cleanup. Really, really do. Thanks.
Well, guys, that was pretty darn definitive.
Yeah, basically every one of our experiments says that there's no way somebody is going to blow up in a porta-potty due to gases caused by the decomposition of human waste.
She's right. And the actual story is that this guy was working at a methane plant, and the porta-potty was sitting over a pipe that was leaking. So basically, he's sitting in this cloud of methane gas.
So it's not exploding porta-potty, it's exploding methane factory.
Which I think is very feasible.
What? Totally different experiment.
It's been one of the darkest days in MythBuster history. Breaking the drive shaft to pole vault the Fury into the air just hasn't happened. For our myth duo, failure might be an option, but drive shaft failure is a necessity. Early the next morning, in a flash of pre-dawn inspiration, Jamie and Adam have come up with a simple solution.
So going forward, it's tightening the bolt.
Yeah.
And keeping it all together. And then the second you jam it in reverse, the tranny grabs that nut, unthreads it.
And off we come.
Unthreads it, and punk, the drive shaft drops out.
Unscrewing the shaft using reverse should eliminate the trial and error of cutting it. The bolt welded into the hollow drive shaft can be quickly rescrewed and reset.
Keep going, Chris.
Yep, keep going. Whoa! Oh, there we go. That would be a failure. Well, we've got our special threaded coupler in the middle of the drive shaft that Jamie and I put in, and it's working beautifully as far as I can tell.
It'll be good to get some, finality to it and see this actually work or not work, whatever is the case.
Now we pack up all our tools and head out to the site.
Day 2 dawns with a growing hull from the build team and growing confidence from Adam.
We watched the sun set on a failed experiment, and here we are watching the sun rise over the same tarmac. And we, in a few minutes, are going to try to achieve success with the pole vaulting Fury.
Okay, car's going live. Step away from the car.
Are we just gonna do it?
Yep.
Okay, 25.
25.
Oh!
It's not a hole-in-one, but for the first time, the drive shaft drops on cue.
Well,
Perfect.
my timing was perfect.
Yeah.
Did we miss the hole just slightly?
Everything worked like a charm, but it did not seat in the hole.
And rescrewing the bolt works just like in the workshop.
You got it started?
I got it. I'm almost done. We're locked.
Car's going hot.
In seconds, the car is ready to roll again.
Good to go.
You guys ready up there?
Ready when you are.
All right.
All right, we're off.
We're off! Go, baby!
MythBuster morale is officially back in buoyant mode.
I was too far off. I guess the brakes work.
The bolt did its job. Now, Jamie and Adam have just got to do theirs.
Here we go! This is the one! We're gonna do it this time!
For a second there, you almost believed him.
It's my fault, it's Jamie's fault, it's my fault, it's Jamie's fault. I think I might have dropped the drive shaft just literally an inch too late on the other side of the hole. But we're getting better at it.
That's a good distance. Catch up with it.
25. 30.
Now that you may be right. I think we hit it dead on.
It looked perfect.
That looked perfect.
This drop was perfect, but the shaft still didn't catch in the hole.
Well, I swear we hit that one dead on. I mean, I saw it dropped before the hole, it settled out and skipped right over the hole. So I'm now thinking that maybe we do need to go at a lower speed.
For Jamie, mass combined with energy is a very simple equation.
That car going at, even at like 15 or 20 miles an hour, there's way enough energy to, I think, to lift it up, to jack it up if that thing hits square. Look at the impact there.
Who'd have thought it'd be so complex? Oh wait, we did.
Call out the speeds, Scotty.
15.
Jamie slowed the Fury down. Has he cleared the last pothole in the pole vault myth?
Yeah!
Yeah! Woo! And the car is still running!
After 2 long days, Adam's got a lot to get off his chest. It's a perfect pothole hit, even if it's not exactly a pole vaulting Fury.
Nice little imprint. And you couldn't ask for a more solid hit than that.
Yeah, look at that. I mean,
it's
a perfect square-on hit. I mean, it's depressed it in the exact circle of our drive shaft, dead center of the hole. You don't get better than that.
Nope.
But there's one last surprise waiting for them in the trunk.
There we go. Oh my God.
Looks like you took out some brake lines too.
That sort of says the whole story, don't it?
That's a lot of force.
Look at that. Yeah, that's.
Well, you know, it tells us one thing about this. Any faster wouldn't have done us any good because it's just going to poke it through further.
Yeah, that's true.
And
absolutely.
So.
And it did lift the back of the car up off the ground at least like a foot or 18 inches from what I saw.
And the car is done for.
Yeah, that's what MythBusters took another car out of its misery.
This myth is starting to look as busted as the Fury.
Well, that was an exhausting couple of days, but it was kind of rewarding in the end. You know, we pulled off a pretty tricky thing to do. You know, hitting that pothole exactly right, it's not easy.
But your solution of the uncoupling drive shaft worked like a charm.
Yeah, and we confirmed the stories that we'd heard, you know, cars hitting at various speeds and getting actually lifted off the ground a little bit. But we did not confirm the myth which says that the car pole vaulted.
It's just so implausible that it would lead to this and impossible that it would launch the car or turn it over. This one's busted.
Interesting, but busted.
Yeah.